we will be continuing with the chapter Humidity and Clouds. In the previous video, we learnt about humidity. In this video, we will be learning more about clouds and its different types. So children, clouds are a form of condensation but at a higher elevation. So children, do you know what is the difference between smog and fog? So there is a difference between fog and smog. Fog is made of vapor in the air itself, whereas smog is a combination of dust particles of polluted air in the region. Condensation occurs around minute particles in the atmosphere. Condensed water or snow particles in the clouds are very fine, that is very small, and they are of very light weight. And so clouds float in the air. Land and water get heated because of the heat from the sun. So the air near the surface also heats up and rises up. So children, remember this, that whenever the air is heated, that time the air is lightest. That means the weight of the air is light. So that is why the air rises up. It goes on top and becomes less dense. Hot air rises up. As it goes higher, the temperature of the air reduces. So as you all know, in the higher elevation, the atmosphere is cool. That is why the temperature reduces and the moisture holding capacity of the air reduces. Relative humidity keeps on increasing. The water vapor in the atmosphere turns into water and snow. This is the dew point level of that air. So, the level of condensation is determined by the water vapor in the air. So, children, keep in mind that the freezing point is also dependent on the altitude, that is the height, and the water vapor. So, because of condensation, fine particles of ice and water float in the air at a greater height. They collect or get collected around dust particles in the air and become larger and larger in size. Their collection together is called as a cloud. Because of the vertical flow of the wind, they float in the atmosphere. Like a kite which floats in the air as it moves higher and higher. The clouds too float in the atmosphere because of vertical flow. So children, clouds are found at different altitudes above the sea level. Clouds which form at greater altitudes are formed from very fine snow particles. The process of evaporation and condensation occur consecutively in the clouds. Specific type of clouds cause rainfall on earth. The proportion of vapor is more near the earth's surface. So, as we go away from the sea level, the amount of vapor decreases or comes down. Thus, the clouds at a lower altitude are larger in size, whereas the clouds that are at the higher altitudes are smaller in size. So, clouds are formed at different altitudes in the atmosphere. After observation, we can divide these clouds into three main types on the basis of their altitude, that is the height. The height from the base of the clouds is taken into consideration. If the clouds are at an altitude of 7,000 to 14,000 meter, then they are considered as very high clouds. If they are at an altitude of around 2000 to 7000 meter, then they are considered to be medium clouds. And if they are at an altitude of less than 2000 meter, then they are low clouds. Okay, children? So in this table, you can see the variety of clouds that are there, like cirrus, cirrostratus, cirrocumulus, altostratus, altocumulus, stratocumulus, stratus, nimbostratus, cumulus, and cumulonimbus. So children, all these clouds are divided according to the altitude, that is the height from low to high. So let's learn about it in detail. First we will do the high clouds. Those are cirrus, cirrocumulus, and cirrostratus. These clouds are mainly made up of ice particles. They can be classified into cirrus, cirrocumulus, and cirrostratus. Cirrus clouds are mainly wispy, like cotton type. They are any shape. Whereas cirrocumulus clouds look like group of small waves, and cirrostratus are like a bed sheet with wrinkles. They generally have a hollow around them. That means in the middle it is hollow. Next is the medium clouds. These clouds include altocumulus and altostratus. Altocumulus are in the form of layers and have a wave-like structure. They are mostly white in color and have a grey shade sometimes, whereas altostratus are not very thick. The sun can be seen through them as if seen through a milky glass. Next is the low clouds. These consist of 5 types of clouds, like the stratocumulus, stratus, and nimbostratus. We also have in the low clouds like cumulus and cumulonimbus. Their color is white to earthy. Round clusters of clouds can be here. Strato clouds also have layers. They are ash colored. That means you know what are ash, right? That is grayish color. And their base is uniform. That means their shape is of uniform. Nimbostratus has thick layers. They are grey ash in color and cause continuous rainfall and even sometimes snowfall. Now in the low clouds there is cumulus clouds as well. These clouds are formed extensively from 500 meter to 6000 meter altitude, that is the height. The vertical flow of the air adds to the formation of these clouds. These are huge and dome-shaped. They are grey in color. Cumulus clouds are an indicator of pleasant weather. The vertical expanse of these clouds increase so much that they turn into cumulonimbus clouds and bring rain. So, next in the low clouds is cumulonimbus clouds. So, children, these are not any other clouds, but they are formed out of the cumulus clouds. These are characteristic clouds which are indicators of thunderstorm. That means whenever there is thunderstorm, these clouds are responsible for it. These look like huge mountains. These are dense and dark in color. There is thunder accompanied by lightning. That means whenever these clouds are there in the atmosphere, there will not only be thunder, but lightning will also be there. They bring rain with storm and may sometimes bring hailstones. But such a type of rain does not last long. That means the rain will fall for some time and go away. The largest of these clouds bring rainfall accompanied with lightning. The top portion of these clouds has an anvil-like shape. So children, what is an anvil? An anvil is a heavy iron block with a flat top and concave sides on which metal can be hammered and shaped. The clouds have a positive charge at the upper end. That means on the top end of the clouds, it has a positive charge, and at the lower end, they have a negative charge. That is a current, electricity. The land below them, that is the land below the cloud, that is cumulonimbus cloud, below that the land is of the negative charge. Due to the difference in the charges, electric charges are formed and thus lightning occurs, lighting up the sky for a moment. The air around the lighting rises up because of the heat that is around, and this leads to a large sound because of the thundering. As compared to other clouds that we learned, the raindrops of these clouds are larger because they move up and down a lot of times and accumulate more and more water. Drops become larger and larger and are unable to float in the clouds because their weight increases. They fall in the form of rain. Sometimes the air in the cloud is very cold. As a result, these drops freeze and fall in the form of hailstones. So children, what are cloudbursts? Cloudburst is a type of precipitation. Raindrops coming towards the earth are stopped in the clouds itself because of strong vertical winds. These drops change into hail. This makes the cloud more and more heavier. The vertical winds are unable to take the weight of the moisture that is built in the clouds. So, this leads to a very heavy rainfall with large sized hailstones. This is called cloud burst. It leads to a rainfall of more than 100 millimeter in a small area or particular region. So, this type of precipitation mainly occurs in mountainous regions. The states through which the Himalayan ranges pass experience such a type of rainfall. Okay children, with this we have completed with the explanation for this chapter. Thank you for listening children. Take care.